What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman back at it again with another video, and I understand I'm late to the party with this video. I know that the third round has already began, but because of the curveball that was thrown at us in the second round, I just had to give my reactions to it because it was off the wall. As hockey fans, we know that the Stanley Cup playoffs never failed to disappoint us, and once again, that's the case this year. And boy, oh boy, was the second round better than what I feel like it usually is. The second round was fantastic. It provided us with some of the best series, some of the best matchups that we've seen in a very long time. And like I've mentioned time and time again in previous videos, that's what I love about the Stanley Cup playoffs, is the unpredictability of hockey in general. You never know who is going to come out with a victory on any given night. Before we jump into the excitement, you guys know the drill around here. Mott's applesauce. If you're ever hungry, if you're ever thirsty, if you need something versatile to put into your system, Mott's applesauce will never fail you. It'll satisfy any itch you have, whether it's hunger, whether it's thirst. Mott's applesauce is the way to go, and I promise you that, and it will never fail you. So yeah, the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs certainly left me speechless at many different points in time. I was like, what did I just witness? Let's start with the most boring series in my personal opinion. It wasn't a bad series by any means, but in comparison to the other series that were played in the second round, the Lightning and the Hurricanes definitely took the cake as the most boring and least interesting. I don't know, just something about that series, there was just no energy in it whatsoever. I just felt like the Lightning were an absolute lock to come out with a victory. It didn't even seem like the Hurricanes put up much of a fight. I understand they didn't get swept, but still, it just never felt like the Hurricanes were completely in that series. Therefore, it was just the most boring. Just because that series lacked does not mean the other three series didn't make up for it. Holy hell. After the Winnipeg Jets go and sweep the Edmonton Oilers, they go into the second round and get swept themselves by the Montreal Canadiens, who should have lost in the first round. What the hell was that? The Montreal Canadiens went on an absolute bender. They went on a 7-game win streak and knocking out the Toronto Maple Leafs and then sweeping the Winnipeg Jets, who just got done sweeping the Edmonton Oilers, like I mentioned. Holy hell. Montreal, they need to stop being slept on. Carey Price, playoff Price, is a different beast. It just seemed like after Marc-andre got suspended in Game 1, the Winnipeg Jets never were really able to get back on track. I understand that they were in each and every game. They never really got blown out in a single game. But I think Marc-andre was definitely a big blow to their roster. I mean, he's definitely one of their top 5 forwards. It certainly sucks to lose a top 5 forward, especially in the first game of the series. And I definitely think that played a huge factor into why they got swept. But nevertheless, the Montreal Canadiens should not have credit taken away from them. They played a fantastic series. And now they're going up against a mammoth in the Vegas Golden Knights, who also happened to do upsetting themselves. They came out and lost 7-1. To the Colorado Avalanche in the first game, and everybody was like, holy shit, is Colorado that good? And Vegas was like, oh hell no, they're not, and they won 4 straight games after being down 2-0 in the series. Holy shit, what a series that was. The Vegas and Avalanche series was just off the wall. I knew that after the Avalanche took down the Golden Knights 7-1 in Game 1, I knew that they'd come back fighting hard. I knew that would not happen again. But I did not expect them to come back and win 4 straight after being down 2-0 in the series. They lost Game 2 in a very unfortunate fashion, a very shocking fashion to say the least. But they still came back fighting even harder each and every game after those first 2 games. And that was so impressive. That was one of the best playoff series that I think I've witnessed in the last few years. Vegas against the Avalanche was just electric. I mean, the Colorado Avalanche have been Cup favorites since the very first game of the regular season. They have been the favorite to win the Cup. They're an offensive powerhouse. They are a machine. It's like their defense is their offense. But the Vegas Golden Knights were able to find a way to suppress them, and the Colorado Avalanche and their depth and their defensive side of the ice definitely showed to be their weakness. The solid roster and the depth that the Golden Knights have is just impeccable. It's impossible to beat. They have 4 lines that you could roll out there shift after shift after shift, and they never stop coming at you, and they block so many shots. The Vegas Golden Knights are literally like, it's like having 5 goalies in front of the net and then Fleury. That's literally what it's like playing against the Golden Knights. They block so many damn shots, and that is a big reason why they were able to take down the Colorado Avalanche, because the Colorado Avalanche and their usual offensive onslaught was not able to make it to Fleury as often as they were used to. But just absolute madness. I mean, the Golden Knights, they absolutely deserve to win that series. I feel like a lot of people are rooting against the Golden Knights. I personally understand why. I just am not personally rooting against them. I get why, you know, they're the expansion team. They got it easy. They had all the players from all these different teams. They don't even have to participate in the next expansion draft. I understand all the bullshit bullshit and why you'd root against them. But they're a good hockey team at the end of the day. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just going out there and playing the best hockey they can, and it's certainly exciting to watch. So yeah, the Colorado Avalanche, who were Cup favorites to begin the year and going into the playoffs, got knocked out. I do want to say that if it weren't for Mark Stone, I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights would even be in the playoffs. That guy is the heart, the soul, the oxygen to that roster. And I think everybody knows that. It's pretty obvious. I think Mark Stone is like one of the most passionate hockey players that we have in the NHL. But I think he plays such a crucial role. And if it weren't for him, I don't think the Golden Knights would be able to go out there with as much energy and play the type of hockey that they do without him. And then in the Boston Bruins and New York Islanders series, we saw the Boston Bruins get taken out back like they were a bag of trash. The New York Islanders went in there and taught them a lesson. Are the Boston Bruins the biggest frauds that we have in the league next to the Toronto Maple Leafs? I think it's a pretty close fight. After watching the way that the Islanders played against the Penguins, I didn't think there was a chance they were getting past the Boston Bruins, right? I mean, Tristan Jarry gave that series to the New York Islanders. Tristan Jarry played so bad in the first round, and the New York Islanders took full advantage of that. And I just figured, right, you know, maybe the Islanders against a team that actually had good goaltending and a guy like Tuukka Rask who's consistently up for a Vezina nomination year after year, that maybe the Islanders would probably score 1 or 2 goals a game at most if they're lucky. But no, they just explode. The Islanders scored 4 or more goals in each of the games that they won against the Boston Bruins. Obviously, that would make sense, right? And in the games that they didn't score 4 or more, they lost. And those were the 2 games they did lose. But still, like, the New York Islanders and goal scoring does not really go hand in hand in the same sentence. That's usually something you don't hear very often. I was shocked. I mean, Matt Barzal came to life. He was nowhere to be found in the first series. Like, literally in round 1, Matt Barzal might as well have been on the bench for the entire series because he was nowhere to be found, but he came to life in the second round. Very helpful for the offense of the New York Islanders. Semyon Varlamov also emerged to be the best goaltender for the Islanders. He's been on a roll as well. So yeah, I fully expected the Boston Bruins to come out of the second round with a victory, but the New York Islanders had something to say about that. I just figured with a Vezina nominee in net and Tuukka Rask, and I just figured with one of the best first lines in hockey that the Boston Bruins would easily take care of the New York Islanders, but boy, was I wrong. So after magically predicting 6 of the 8 winners in the first round, somehow I magically got 6 out of the 8 correct. I followed up with a solid 1 for 4 in the second round. I did not do too hot. I only got the Lightning versus Hurricanes correct. The other series, not so much. Even though this video is coming out after the third round has already started, I did make my picks and who I think is going to win before the third round actually started. I picked the Canadiens because how long can we keep doubting them? Obviously, after the first game, that's not looking too hot. The Canadiens got tossed around pretty damn badly in that first game by the Vegas Golden Knights, as everybody expected, but I did not want to be a coward. I wanted to pick the Canadiens because I like rooting for Carey Price. I think he's absolutely out of his mind. He played one of the best losing efforts I've ever seen in game 1. I was just blown away. He made save after save after save. That game would have been probably 9-1 if any other goalie was in net for the Canadiens. So yeah, taking the Canadiens was definitely a ballsy pick, but then I follow it up with a cowardly pick, and I take the Lightning over the Islanders. Obviously, neither of my picks have started off too hot. Somehow the Islanders defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Eastern All-Star roster, 2-0. Like, that team, when's the last time the Lightning have been shut out? Like, honestly. I just must not be good at this. Obviously, there's a ton of games left to be played in both series. We don't know who the actual winner is going to be yet, but still, not starting off too hot to say the least. For the rest of the playoffs, I am going to root for the Montreal Canadiens just for the simple fact that I think Carey Price deserves a shot at the Stanley Cup. He has played more than well enough to deserve a chance at winning the trophy, but I mean, holy shit. Carey Price is definitely by far the best player in the Stanley Cup playoffs up to this point. I mean, he has played absolutely out of his mind. He put up one of the best efforts I've ever seen by a goalie in a losing game in game 1 against the Golden Knights. I hope they're able to bounce back for him, but nevertheless, I am rooting for the Canadiens. Who knows what is going to happen? That is the unpredictability of hockey that I know and love. I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the semifinals have to offer. I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who do you think is going to come out in round 3? What did you think of round 2? Any thoughts you might have, leave them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I would appreciate that. If you want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there. I would appreciate that as well. I'm a part of the built-in Buffalo content creation team. If you enjoy Buffalo Bills content, be sure to follow and subscribe to them on any social medias that you might have. And I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.